Alrighty, hey there. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the PyQuick Basic Python class. My name is Nick Parlante, and I work in Google's engEDU group, which deals with sort of technical training and engineering. And I also have a job at Stanford, where I work as a lecturer. So the plan for today is, actually a two-day class. So this class is about just basic, useful, normal Python. And Python is sort of, it's a nice, friendly language. You can actually learn a lot of Python in 2 days. So that's the good news. This is the class where the prerequisite is not, you don't need to be like super expert engineer to come in here and learn Python. What we want is just that you have some experience in some language. So like, you have some idea what a variable is or something like that. And then Python's going to meet you halfway on this. Python, like I was saying before, it's a nicely designed language. A lot of things work pretty easily. And so you can learn a lot of Python pretty quickly. So it's a two-day class. And what's going to happen is it'll be a mix of lecture and coding sections. And I'll kind of alternate between the two. The good news, or I guess the bad news, or whatever, the news is that the class moves pretty quickly. So I'll show you a few things in lecture, kind of demonstrate a couple things. And I want to get pretty quickly to you trying that in coding. Because I think really when you code it up, that's when you're going to learn it.
And what URLlib does, it's neat. It takes a URL and it tries to make it look like a file. And so when I say urllib.url open, it's trying to kind of look like that open command that you've used to open files. And it returns, I named my variable uf there. It returns this thing it's kind of like a file object, like the f, but really it's pointing over the network to this thing. So in particular, I can say uf.read. And what that's going to do is it does the networking and gets all the data and here it is. And so I could say, for example, I don't know, regular expressions or something like you could do in this. So URLlib, it has a lot of features. You can set cookies and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm just doing the most simple sort of URL retrieval here. So the other thing I want to show you here, man, look at all this. Does anyone ever look at the source code of our homepage? All right, so I'm going to look for .gif in here. There we go. OK. So there /intel n blah, blah, blah. OK, so I'm going to copy that. That's the URL of the GIF that's on today's homepage, apparently. So I'm going to show you another URLlib function, which is URL retrieve. And what that takes is a URL. So I'm going to say google.com, and I'm going to paste in that. So I believe that is the full URL path of today's GIF. And I'm going to say comma. And what URL retrieve does is it does a download. So there's a GIF, and I'm going to say, let's call this blah.gif. If I run that, bloop, OK. So now if I Control Z out of here, if I do an ls, check it out. Blah.gif. This may prove to be handy in our next exercise.